everybody. Thank you for watching episode 2.
Alright guys, join me in game. We're finally here. It's only taken 1.5 episodes to get actually into Apex, but we're here. This is the game that you're going to become a pro player in. How exciting. Obviously this is season 9. This is season 9, right? The day that I'm recording this, season 10 launches. So this will look a bit different for you, but don't worry about it. The settings will still be the same, hopefully. So we're going to get straight into this. And the first thing that I want to talk about is your gameplay settings. So I want to talk through the settings as I change them. So the first thing is interact prompt style here, guys. I have it on compact. When it's on default, it looks like this. So as you can see, half your bloody screen is covered by all this information. Button hints I have off. You don't need this on, guys, not unless you haven't played a lot. Keep this off. Crosshair damage feedback. I have this on off, and let me just briefly show you why. So when I'm shooting an enemy, I can tell if I'm doing damage to him based on the numbers that pop up next to him, right? So that actually having a crosshair isn't required. But let me just show you what it looks like with this. So you see that there's like a giant cross that comes up in the middle of your screen, and it's actually quite big. And it's just not necessary, guys. Like, a lot of the time, you can tell when you're doing damage to someone. So I would keep this off. It'll make your tracking a lot nicer. It's a lot easier to see how much damage you're doing in what different situations, in my opinion. There's one thing I want to say about this, though, guys. It's really important. If you're throwing a grenade, let me try and demonstrate this, actually. If you're throwing a grenade like this, and then you look away, it just blew up. And I have no idea how much damage I did. I don't even know if I did any damage. So the only problem with having crosshairs off is when you throw the grenades, or you're using a caustic gas, or something like that, make sure you're looking in the general direction, because you won't know otherwise how much damage you did, or that you even did damage necessarily. So make sure you look in the direction you throw your nades. Damage numbers keep on stacking. You don't want it to, explode all over your screen every time you hit a nice beam. Ping opacity I have on faded just to create less grossness on your screen. Obituaries keep on. Minimap rotation I have on. I much prefer this. Unfortunately, there's no minimap in the firing range, but basically, guys, if you're looking around, you want your minimap to represent what you see in front of you in the minimap. So it's very quick to determine where players are depending on where you're looking, as opposed to depending on north. I really think this is important. It will make your use of the minimap a lot better, and it will make your target acquisition and communication to your teammates a lot quicker. There are some pros that actually turn this off, and I don't know what they're smoking, but I'd love to try some. So weapon auto cycle on empty I keep off. I personally like to be in control of when I switch between guns. Auto sprint I have off, even though I did used to play with it on. If you're brand new to Apex, turn it on. It will help you get a gist of running around and the movement and everything, and it will help you get into gunfights a lot quicker. If you're anything more than brand new, turn this off. You want to be able to control the ability to sprint or walk. It's really important in game. Double tap sprint. I don't think anybody under the age of 55 actually has this on. If you do, turn it off immediately. Jetpack control have on hold. It just makes a little bit more control when using Valkyrie, and it allows you to wall bounce a lot easier, I think. I'm not certain about that actually, but I think it does. Incoming damage feedback. Some pro players have this on 2D. I don't really know why. I think it's way better to find out the direction you're being shot from. Let's say you're being shot from above. It will show clearly on your screen. Some people argue that it's hard to tell when you're being shot at. I don't understand that. It's pretty freaking obvious when you're being shot at. Taking damage closes death box or crafting menu. Turn this off. Do not have this on, guys. If you're trying to armor swap, it will close your inventory, so you won't be able to armor swap as soon as you get shot at. It's very common that you're trying to armor swap whilst being shot at, so make sure this is turned off. It's super important this is off. Hop up, pop up. Keep this off. Like, you don't need to know that, guys. You should know what hop-ups on your gun just by picking them up. Oh, that's quick draw. That's actually not in season 10. Neither's that. You'd know, oh, it's a shatter caps. You'll know that it's on your gun. You'll see it when you press tab. You can keep it on though. It's not that big of a deal, but I just think it's more UI clutter, so turn that off. Data, you guys can turn this on. It doesn't really matter. It's all personal preference. However, I use Titanopia. There's no way I said that right. I use Tritanopia because I'll show you guys what it looks like. It creates this yellow crosshair. Can you see that nice yellow glow? So if you have it on normal, it'll look like this. Can you see it's kind of red? I find it a lot harder to see that amongst certain backgrounds. I find the red really distracting. So I much prefer this yellow color. It does make the damage and the shield colors a little bit weird sometimes, so you have to like relearn the colors. But for me personally, it's way nicer to play on Tronophobia just because of that yellow crosshair. I'm a really big fan of that. Okay guys, the next thing we're going to talk about is audio. I play on 100%, but I have it turned down in Windows. That's why it looks like I should be deaf, but I'm not. Keep VoIP on. It's always good to chat to your teammates using VoIP in game and whatnot. Sound effects volume, make sure that's on 100% guys. You want to be able to hear every revive, every grenade, every Gibraltar ultimate landing on your forehead. You know, you want to be able to hear everything. Turn that on 100%. Dialogue volume, you can have much lower. Do not turn this off, guys. It's super important to have dialogue volume on, especially if you're a Wraith, because you can hear, you know, she'll say something like, oh, I'm being aimed at, or, you know, she'll just have a panic attack like she does. Make sure that's turned to about 20-30%. Another really important thing with the dialogue volume, guys, for you to listen out to is whenever your teammates kill a guy who's the last one in the squad, your teammates will tell you, oh, that was the last one in the squad. Or if your teammates are being shot at by a new team, they'll tell you, oh, there's a new team attacking brothers or something, right? And then you'll know, okay, this isn't one team, this is two teams. Or previously, like I said, you'll know that team's all dead if your teammates call out that it's the last one in the squad. So that's very important that you have this audible so you can hear that. I turn the music off just because I like to play my own music. Nothing against the music in the game. The music's great. Sound and background off. All of this stuff I have off. The video, guys. So this is where you're going to get into the 16:10 aspect ratio that we were talking about earlier. This is my custom res, 1728x1080. It's just basically like 1920x1080, but everything's slightly fatter. Everything's just a little bit wider, and it makes tracking a little bit easier in my opinion. I did find that it made me play better, but maybe that's placebo. I keep brightness on 57%. FOV is on a nice 110. I like to be able to see the maximum amount that I can on my screen. Some pro players play on a lot less than that, so it's very much preference, guys. FOV ability scaling, make sure this is on disabled. What this will do is when you're an Octane and you stim, your FOV does not change. So it'll make you feel like you're running slower, but you're actually not. It's just your FOV hasn't changed. And that will just keep your aim nice and consistent across different legends. It also applies to Bloodhound's ultimate as well, guys, so make sure you keep this disabled. Sprint view shake, I don't know why you'd have this on normal. Put this on minimal, guys. No one wants to be playing the game like this. We're trying to play the game with it. Alright, so in the video settings, this is just what works for me, guys. I turn everything off. I like to prioritize FPS. That's the goal here. So everything's on disabled or none. Absolutely everything. It makes the game look like complete poop, but that's totally fine because you know what matters is that you're having a stable frames per second, and no one's going to notice when the game looks bad when you're one clipping everybody. So just focus, in my opinion, focus on this. That's it, guys. That's everything that I want to talk about in terms of video settings. Okay, controller settings. I have to apologize, guys. I have a controller and I'm just disgustingly bad at it, so I really don't want to give anybody any advice on this at all. I'm going to link some videos in the description below to how you should set up controller in game and out of game, guys. So if you're on a console or if you're a controller on PC, I'll leave some videos down there and you guys can sort of figure out what works for you best here. Unfortunately, this is not my area of expertise. In fact, neither is mouse and keyboard, but I'm just much more experienced with mouse and keyboard. So I'm going to move on. All right, guys, mouse and keyboard. My mouse sensitivity is 1.5 in game. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in just one second, but I'll get to the key bindings first. My mouse acceleration off, make sure that's off. Inverted mouse, I don't know why anybody would. Maybe if you're in Australia, you'd play with that because everything's backwards, right? I have scroll wheel up for move forward. As you can see, scroll wheel up makes me walk forward. The reason I have that on is because it allows me to tap strafe. That'll probably be something I'll cover in a future video, but that's essentially why. WASD for move left, right, back, forward. That all makes complete sense. Jump is also on mouse wheel down. Super important, guys. This will make it really easy to bunny hop. Bunny hopping without this is a lot harder, so I highly recommend having scroll wheel bound to jump. Also super jump, so you see how high I just jumped here? That super jump is something that you can only do, or you can't only do it, but it's much easier to do if you have a scroll wheel bound to jump. Everything else here is kind of niche. Oh my god, what did I just do? Escape. So crouch is on control. Tactical ability is Q. My ultimate's 5. My key bindings are a bit weird, guys. I wouldn't really recommend using them. Stick to the default key bindings. Mine are just how I learned the game, but they're a bit strange, okay? The only thing that I do recommend that you guys maybe try out is the custom key, meds. So essentially what this is going to be for is when you've taken damage, in one press of one button, you can determine what meds to use. And I personally have B for battery, but I have C for shield cell, and then I have Z for syringe, and then I have G for med kit. And then if I want to put the Phoenix kit, I use V. So that basically allows me to select any med in an instance with one key press, as opposed to going, oh, okay, I want the battery. You know, I find it a lot easier to just go, oh, B for bat. And I do think that it makes my gameplay a little bit quicker. However, you do sacrifice a lot of room on your keyboard because you have to dedicate each key. And I think my dog's barking, so that's hilarious. Thank you for that, Nia. So to end this video, guys, we've come over to the whiteboard and we're going to talk about mouse sense. So this is quite a highly debated thing, and it's really something that a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on. And whilst it is important, I think that it might be more important that you just practice your general mouse control, right? So improving your mouse control at any sensitivity is always a good idea, and don't be afraid to change your sense. If you've kind of come to love one sense, maybe it is right for you, but sometimes changing your sense can help you improve your mouse control. So I'm going to show you guys some of the best aimers that I know on both of these senses, and you guys can then go and look at their YouTube channels. I'll leave links to the description to their Twitch as well, and you can see how they aim, and you can try and gauge, you know, would you prefer to play at a slightly higher sense, the 1.5, or would you prefer to play at a lower sense, the 1.2? Now, quick disclaimer, guys, there are senses ranging all across the board from very, very slow to very, very high, and any of them could be right for you. So I'm trying to make the point that if you're very new to gaming and you don't really know what sense to go on, I would recommend trying out one of these two. One thing, guys, as well, some of the players might have actually changed since I did my research, so I think this is what they play on. So Adele plays for Qualix Hardeki. He plays for Gambit Esports. You have Mady, and you also have JMW. I put them together because they're playing for the same team, right? You've got Zanya from 789, previously LG. Then you also have Sanya as well, playing for Maestro Esports. And then you also have Leogree as well. So all these gamers play on 1.2 to my knowledge, and if you watch any of their gameplay, I'll leave links in the description, guys, to their Twitches and whatnot. You'll see how they aim. And I would say a general rule is this: these aimers are extremely smooth. They have very smooth aim because of their lower sense allows them to build up that mouse control, make the quick flicks, but also have the very smooth tracking. Okay then, so we're on to the 1.5 gang now. So these players are playing on a slightly higher sense than 1.2. 0.3 of a difference in game might not seem like a lot, but I promise when you try it and you've spent hours on either sense, you'll notice that there is actually quite a big difference between the two. So the first gamer that I have on this sense is Vifes, plays for Alliance. Taishin and Mandy both play at this same sense. Also, there's this guy called Noises. He currently plays on 1.5. Rugby of Maestro, he also plays on 1.5. And then you've also got Naski and Matafe. So Naski of Aqualix and Matafe of August and Hungary. Both of these guys, as far as I'm aware, play on 400 DPI. So they play at 3.0 in game. But it's important to note that that's the same sensitivity as these guys. The only difference is they have a lower DPI, so their armor swapping will be slightly different, but they play on the same sense. And then you've also got Nyx, who I talked about in my last video. Absolutely amazing aimer. He plays at 1.55, but it's essentially the same sense, slightly higher. So as you can see, guys, there's great players on a slightly lower sense and a slightly higher sense. Either of these two senses will work for you, I'm sure. Just try them out. And remember that the most important thing is mouse control. Your sensitivity is personal and it can be specific to your skills, but just remember that changing it sometimes might help you build up better mouse control and make you a better aimer over time. And also the last thing to note is you do not have to choose one of these two senses. You can do anything you want. I'm just showing you great gamers that play at these two popular senses.
Oh, hello everybody, thanks for watching my Apex Legends video. This was Ep.2 discussing my setting. Please look at the link in the description to my Twitch and my Twitter, and also link to my Discord as well. And yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all that shit. If you did like the video, let me know why and how I can improve. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!